Thank you, Chair. It's the first Mayor's Question Time of 2025, so I'd like to start by wishing everyone a belated Happy New Year. I will use my opening statement this morning to talk about my draft budget published yesterday. I'm planning to increase council tax to provide urgently needed funding for the Met Police Service. The last thing I want to do is increase council tax at a time when many household budgets are stretched. But keeping Londoners safe is my top priority as Mayor, and I'll always use all the levers at my disposal to ensure the police in our city have the funding they require to tackle crime. The government recently announced more than £200 million of extra funding for policing in London. This represents more additional core government funding in 1 year than the Met received between 2010 and 2024. But due to over a decade of damaging cuts by the previous government, which reduced funding for policing by £1.1 billion in real terms, there's still a significant shortfall in the Met's budget. That's why I've been left with no choice but to increase the policing precept of council tax by £14 per year for an average Band D household. This will help to fill financial gaps and is expected to raise an additional £54 million vital funding that will go towards keeping neighbourhood officers on the streets and ensuring we can bear down on violent crime and robbery. It's worth noting that those politicians who attack this increase are the very same ones who backed the previous government in taking a wrecking ball to police funding and crime prevention, the consequences of which we're still dealing with today. As Mayor, my mantra has been to be both tough on crime and tough on the causes of crime. And that's why I've more than doubled police funding from City Hall compared to the previous Mayor. And it's why I've provided support for more than 100,000 mentors, and I've invested in more than £500,000 in positive opportunities for young Londoners to help divert them away from crime and gangs and towards training and employment. Thanks to this approach, and despite a population rising by more than 1 million, we've seen the number of young Londoners injured with knives reduced by nearly a quarter, burglary fall by 22%, and homicides drop by 13% since 2016. We're seeing some progress despite the previous government's austerity, but there's clearly a long way to go. And that's why I'm determined to continue investing record amounts from City Hall, as well as working with the government on the national long-term funding we need to ensure we can continue building a safer London for everyone. And now I want to finish by paying tribute to Andy Rowe, who's announced he intends to retire after 5 years as Commissioner of the London Fire Brigade. In this job, I get to work with many brilliant public servants, but it really has been a privilege to work with Andy on the transformation of the LFB. In my view, he's done an outstanding job. Under his leadership and with the support of City Hall, the London Fire Brigade has made significant progress in improving its performance and culture. It's now responding to emergencies faster and is rated outstanding in how it responds to major incidents. As part of my budget, I've announced additional funding for the London Fire Brigade so that we can ensure these improvements continue, building on the incredible progress Andy has delivered. I hope I can speak on behalf of the GLA and the entire London Assembly when I say, Andy, thank you for your selfless public service over so many years. We wish you well in your next chapter.